So I have what I think is a really funny video and informative video that I think you're going to want to share with your friends. But before I get to that, I got to put a disclaimer in. Please, no fake outrage here. I know it's 2018 and everybody finds a way to be offended by something these days. I'm just trying to be funny. When I renewed my vows to, I've been in this recruiting business now for 9 years, and when I renewed my vows about a year ago to do this, I told myself I was going to do it my way. And part of my way is maybe using some humor, interacting with my clients and potential clients in a way that I want to. Unfortunately, in this business, a lot of my competitors, they sell with fear and fluff. And what I mean by that is, you know, they tell you stuff like, well, you have to be on this website to get recruited, and you have to be in our Rolodex of college coaches. And that's just fear selling. That's nonsense. And fluff is a bunch of stuff like, oh, you have to, you have to, or your profile was viewed 42 times by college coaches in your area in the last week, but they don't tell you who those are, and obviously those coaches aren't talking to you, so it's just fluff. Like maybe they sent an email and it sent back that somebody clicked on the email, whatever, but that's nonsense. It doesn't help you get recruited. So I don't sell on fear and fluff. I try to be honest. So anyway, I'm going to get to the funny stuff. So I'm going to use my example as I'm a heterosexual male. When I used to be single, I'm a happily married man. So I'm talking about in the past when I used to be single and chase girls or whatever, and how that maybe relates to you looking as a high school athlete looking for a college. If I was a female, I would be talking about, the same way how I would chase guys. And, I know guys like girls and girls like guys and guys like guys and girls like girls. All that is cool. All that's good in my book. You do you. I'm just speaking from my experiences, and hopefully that relates to something that's kind of funny and that you can relate to in the recruiting process. So anyway, when I was out on the prowl years and years ago, my friends and I coined a term which I thought was really cool, and that term was underrated hotness. So we were looking for the girl who was underrated in her hotness. She maybe didn't know she was that hot, or maybe you could tell she had the potential to blossom in the future. Maybe like if you're thinking back to your high school days, it was that artistic, weird girl that ended up, you saw your high school reunion when you were 40, and you're like, well, that girl ended up really hot. That's the underrated hotness that we were talking about and joking about or whatever. Okay, so how does this relate to college athletic recruiting? So you've probably heard before people rate, suitors or whatever on a 0 to 10 scale. It's not something I made up. It's just, something that's out there. So your 10s are your supermodels, right? They're the girls that Tom Brady's going to date. You're not going to date those girls. So there's a really funny video. I'll try to find it. Some of you may have seen it. I'll try to link it to this. And it's about the hot crazy scale. And the guy talks about how a girl who's a 10 hotness and also not crazy is a unicorn. They don't exist. So your 10 in my scenario is your supermodel, the girl that, no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to date. In recruiting, that's your Duke basketball, your Texas football, Ohio State football, Kentucky basketball. There's really nothing you can do to get their attention in the recruiting process. You're either good enough for that or you're not. Now, some of you might say, well, I can try hard and play basketball at Kentucky. That's fine. Go sign up with one of my competitors. They'll tell you can do that, and they'll take your money and you sell you on fear. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, you're not going to play basketball at Kentucky. You're probably not going to date that supermodel either. So anyway, those are the 10s. The 0s through 5s are the girls you stay away from, right? Those might be, in the college recruiting, might be like your junior college schools, that if you don't want a junior college, or really bad academic NAIs, Division 2s or Division 3s that are in like bad crime-ridden areas or have, poor academic success rates, or just schools that there's no way you're going there. Stay away from those girls, stay away from those schools, right? So then your sweet spot in the middle is your 6 through 9s. And your 9 is the girls that most people target. So these, if you think back, if you're an adult watching this, you think back to high school, it's like that clique of mean girls, right? That were like, thought they were all that, and, they were like the 5 hottest girls in school, and they were, kind of snooty or whatever. Most people go after those 9s. And this is, in college recruiting, your low Division 1s. So this is probably your local Division I school. Like if you live in North Carolina, it's your UNC Greensboro. If you live in Texas, it's your UT Arlington. If you live in Wisconsin, it's your University of Wisconsin Green Bay. So most kids think, well, I know I'm not good enough to play at North Carolina or University of Texas or University of Wisconsin, but I want to hit that Division I level. So I want to go that next tier down. I want to hit that 9. And there's a problem there. There's a couple problems. One, those schools have too many suitors. Everybody is trying to go there. Everybody is thinking the same way you're thinking, and they get inundated with recruiting requests. So most of the time, they're not even going to reply to you. Just like those 5 or 6, super hot mean girls from your high school, they get so many suitors that your pool, just to begin with, is the numbers are against you. But I'm going to take it one step further. In my opinion, and I was a college coach for 8 years, and I always thought this about these low Division I schools in recruiting. The coaches there get lazy. Because they have so many suitors, they get a false sense of security that they can get any player they want. And they stop going out trying to look for the diamond in the rough, the kid who's going to end up being a really good player. And they just take the trash left over that the high Division I's don't want. And most of those kids have bad attitudes or, whatever. And I've seen it so many times. So those 9s, those low Division I's, they're not looking for the good fit. They're just taking the leftovers from the 10s. Similarly, the mean girls in high school or whatever, they end up just dating the small pool of guys that are deemed as like the popular guys, and they don't really put a lot of thought into. And again, I'm talking in generalities here. Yes, there's probably a girl, if you're in high school that didn't fit this mold, and there's probably a college that's a good fit for you. This is just general terms to make what I think is an interesting point. But they get lazy and they don't really look for a good fit. So it's really hard for you to find a good fit at those 9s. So here's where I'm bringing it back to underrated hotness. So when I was, again, a single man, my friends and I would always say that girl has underrated hotness. Maybe she had a really pretty face and didn't wear provocative clothes like the 9s did, but you could tell, I think that girl's going to be, or she's maybe going to reach her potential, at 28 or something like that. And so we would always name that girl's underrated hotness. So here's where you find a college with underrated hotness in that 6 to 8 range. It's your Division II, your Division III, or your NAI school that has all of the elements of the Division I school, but has uniqueness to it that makes it better. And there's not a lot of those out there. On average, your 6 is going to be less attractive than your 9, right? And your 9 is going to be better than your 6. On average, you take the generalities. Your average Division I school is going to have some more things that you like about it better than your average Division III school. That's the truth for most people. But if you can find those underrated hotness girls, or if you can find those unique diamond in the rough schools, and what I mean by this is maybe the top 25 academic Division III schools that have good budgets and have good coaches and awesome facilities and awesome campuses and good financial aid packaging and awesome programs, they're going to be better than most of your low Division I schools. Or this Division II school that has full financial aid packaging, but they're the elite top of Division II, and in their sport they compete for the national title every year, and they have an awesome facility and an awesome coach and awesome academic program or whatever. They're a diamond in the rough, and so many kids pass over them because they think, well, I just want to play Division I. Just like in high school, maybe you older folks are looking back, so many people didn't give that artsy girl that was a little weird any attention. And then, sometimes you see in the news or whatever, they'll talk about a celebrity or an actress, a famous actress who's, now beautiful at 30. And you'll be like, oh, I was kind of a dork in high school, or I didn't really date until I was in my 20s because, there were no gentlemen suitors, and, and you're like, how can that be? Wouldn't everybody have wanted that girl when she was 16? No, they were going after these 9s. And a lot of those 9s, end up, as the old generation used to say, like, rode hard and put to bed wet or something like that. So they're hot in high school, and then they've peaked, and they're not really end up being a good fit for you. But when you're in high school and you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it that way. So I think that's a really cool way to think about it. Again, please don't be offended by it. I'm not objectifying women here. I would say the same thing about men. If I was female, it's just the way that you look at other people that you're attracted to. Um, so I hope you thought that was funny. If you did, please share that. Please share this video. My website is studentathleteworld.com. The way that I'm different than the other people out there doing college recruiting. One of my favorite author, Malcolm Gladwell, wrote a book called David and Goliath, and talks about how David, the small guy, and that's me in the college recruiting business, actually has some advantages over Goliath that people don't think about. And I do. I have advantages over the big people because I can make a video like this and I can try to relate to you as a human being, and I don't have to make everything politically correct and make it all a bunch of fluff and put up posts about stuff that really doesn't help you in the recruiting process. My goal is to help you, specifically you, in the recruiting process. I don't need to bring on 50 clients a day. I bring on about 2 clients a month that I work with. So that's my advantage in the recruiting process. I can be personal. I can be honest. I can hopefully bring some enjoyment and fun to the recruiting process by sharing stuff like this and other things that I talk about to help you find that perfect fit for you. So I want you to find the underrated hotness and be a happily married man or woman or whoever for the rest of your life. And that college decision is so important. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, studentathleteworld.com, and I look forward to talking to you soon.